This is the Bone Robot Games podcast, and we need to talk about how pros are ruining gaming. Okay? I'm here with Isaac. Say hi, bud.
Hey, what's up?
Do it one more time.
Hey, what's up?
I like that one better. We'll go with that one. I'll fix it in post.
Yeah, edit that out, dude.
I've never edited a single thing in this podcast, so I really need to start off with this Halo thing I saw the other day. This is a reason. This is what spurred this on. I see they're adding a bandit rifle, right? This is a couple weeks ago. This is in August. They're adding a bandit rifle. There's some gameplay. There's some gameplay footage of it out, and like Delta Halo group or whatever, some like fan group tweets out the footage or whatever. And a guy from FaZe Spartan goes, slow down fire rate, remove bloom, add D-scope, god tier weapon. And someone, the account Shitty Halo takes retweeted, says, my brother in Christ, no one has even used this weapon yet. They're already asking for nerfs on a gun that is not available to the public.
Yeah, it's insane. It's all the top players in quotation marks in every
Hmm.
game think they have like some kind of like their opinion is more valuable than everyone else's, and they clearly have the worst opinions on everything all the time.
Hmm.
They don't understand what makes the game fun. They only understand what makes them money. That's
Well,
all
they
they care
understand
about.
they understand what makes the game fun for them, which is when they win. And the second they die to something, they freak out about it. I actually saw a very similar tweet lately because Call of Duty is coming out with Warzone 2, like an upgrade to their BR. Warzone, Call of Duty Warzone is their BR. They're coming out with an upgrade to it. And this guy literally, he climbed. He's a streamer, and someone retweeted. He climbs a ladder. As soon as he gets to the top of it, gets one tapped by a shotgun. And he's like, "What? I had full armor plates. A shotgun kills you instantly." And everyone's like, "This guy is complaining that he just tried to bum rush a team of two, gets one tapped, and then complains that the gun needs to be nerfed." They have no. It's all the knee jerk reactions now are just on Twitter, and all of the top players and streamers just instantly, if they die to something, it's a problem, and it they can't die once. They have such a big ego. You die once to something, it needs to be taken out of the game.
Yeah, it's anytime they're disadvantaged, they consider it like the game is bad. When it's like,
Hmm.
no, you made a mistake. You don't bum rush a guy who has a shotgun in any game.
Yeah.
It's just a bad strategy.
Well, yeah. I mean, something that I think has that goes hand in hand with pros ruining it is that there is so much more discourse about everything nowadays. You remember Halo 1? Remember the shotgun in Halo 1? You would clean people out with that thing. It was extremely strong. It had a pretty decent range. If you're on Blood Gulch, baby, and you know guys a shoddy, don't even go inside the fucking building, right? You just learn. Don't even go in. And how many times did that shotgun get nerfed? I'll wait. How many times did the Halo 1 shotgun get nerfed? That shit.
Zero.
Exactly. So, because there's nothing you could do. People will just adapt. And it's not like people nowadays are like, oh, what's the strongest shotgun of all time? Halo 1 shotgun. No, they just, like, it wasn't even that good. The best weapon was the Magnum. People just got better with different guns and played differently.
Yeah, it's an issue where the top players think, oh, I died to this. It can't possibly be my decision making that's at fault. It has to be the game's balance. When it's like,
Hmm.
no, you made a dumb idea. Don't go into the building and get the shotgun user.
And this is one of the downsides of like the internet where everyone has a voice because this used to just like die down, and in Halo 1 or whatever, it would just what are you going to do? You couldn't cry at the developers and say, "Please make this gun less powerful. It killed me in one shot and I'm going to cry." They would just have to deal with it and get better. And then now it's like the second something goes wrong, they cry about it. And for some reason, developers are like acquiescing from time to time and changing it, which is another weird facet to
Yeah,
it.
that's like a bigger thing where for some reason Twitter has power in the world, and I
Hmm.
don't think it deserves any.
No.
For some reason, if there's like a big enough number of retweets on something, people think that it's like a legitimate opinion when it's still just horseshit, and the original tweet was probably written by a fucking robot in the first place.
Yeah. Well, we know that no one on the internet has the thing about that is you have to have, and we've said this before about like gaming journalism. If you go and look at a gaming article, you don't know who the journalist is. You don't know if what they're saying has any backing to it. You don't know if it has any credence and if they have any integrity. And it's the same thing for Twitter. What has become the stand-in for integrity is followers and number of likes and retweets. It doesn't matter if you have smart and intelligent discussion about something. It matters if you have a lot of followers.
Yeah,
And
if a lot
so,
of people pretend to agree with you on the internet, then you're right. That's
hmm
the new rule.
hmm there's no like, there's no engagement. You can't discuss something with someone because you have 140 characters. It is the worst place to discuss something with someone is on Twitter. And so they get a little blurb out there. Yeah, this thing needs to be. It's again that tweet. Three things. Oh, change descope, change rate of fire, god tier weapon. And it's like this sounds like a Neanderthal's opinion. You're speaking in sentence fragments. First of all, get it together. And second of all, it's like again, the gun is not out. No one has used it. It's still not out. This gun is not in the game.
Yeah, that you sent that to me. That was amazing. I thought that was very
That
funny.
was what really started this discussion because there's so many levels of pros nowadays that are ruining games because they change things that no one asked to be changed. Another great example with Halo, and this has like made me sick. Like I used to love Halo. I can't play Infinite because the game is boring. I've been ranting about that lately. But pros also, what I found out recently is there is a gentleman's agreement that they just don't use the mangler in pro play in the comp scene. They just said this gun's too strong. They like all of them have just there's a gentleman's agreement. They just don't use the mangler, which is one of the pussiest things I've ever heard in my life.
Yeah, that's insane. Is there like something in any of the rule sets for the tournaments or
No, it's
what?
that's what I mean. It's 100% gentleman's agreemented, and and this is an even funnier thing, which bothers me so much. Goes back. This ties right in again with developers making changes. They complained about it was too strong. There was the mangler up close was if you shot them one time anywhere on their body and meleeed back to back, it was an instant kill. So not so much instant because you have to hit a shot and a melee. Again, it's basically like a shotgun, but it takes longer because you also have to hit a melee. Um, it's also super close range that can happen, right? You're not you just use a BR. You can outrange them with an assault rifle. Like it just you know what I mean, just shoot your gun first of all. But they change that and instead of like tweaking the mangler, like the way that they complained about it so much. Instead of like tweaking the gun damage, the developers changed melee damage across the board so that that can't happen. And now it takes like two shots in a melee or something like that, or a shot in two melee. And so I don't care. I don't give a shit. I think the Mangler is a fine gun. I actually thought it was shitty. I hated using it on an Xbox, so I thought didn't give a shit either way. But I think that it's a bad precedent to set that a couple of like you know how many people are on a team in a tournament? Four, five. So I mean, how many teams could possibly be in it? 10. So we're talking 40 people out of their entire player base are saying we don't like this gun, and they like overhaul an entire melee system so that they don't have the one shot, one tap maneuver with it.
Yeah, that's kind of insane to change. First of all, why if the gun's the problem, change the gun.
I don't know.
It's just bad from the developer's perspective.
Yeah.
And why are you listening to these people? Just because they're good at the game doesn't mean that they're smart. Some people are just naturally talented at video games, and that doesn't mean that they know why what they do works. They just do things, and it works.
Yeah, I would go.
I've met a ton of these people.
Yeah, I would go even as far as to say that most of them are not smart and they run like they just understand the game very well. They can't even explain how they know it that well. It's just about they can read their opponent, they make smart plays, and they hit their shots. They couldn't explain to you why. They're not all good coaches. They don't understand the game on a level like beyond. They're not geniuses. They're just very good at it. I mean, I'm not trying to take that away from them. They're obviously the most talented at the game, but they shouldn't also be like all of them shouldn't be like mouthpieces for the community. In fact, I think they should shut the fuck up more often and just shoot, please. Go have like inter-team squabbles. Like start some beef with the other team. I don't know what these teams are because all they're ever talking about is the only time that I ever get publicity from them, and now I just can't stand people like FaZe. I don't care about the FaZe clan because they're just online complaining about the guns that are not in the game yet.
Yeah, that's all that the top players ever do in their games. They
Yeah.
never contribute to make their esport interesting or fun. They never there's like against trash talking in a lot of esports,
Mhm.
which is very boring. And all they can bring to the table is, hey, I'm good at this video game. So it's like you're not interesting and you're not intelligent. So why would anyone listen to you? So they just complain because people listen to them because they complain because they think they know so much more about the game,
Yeah.
but they often don't.
Well, it's also like an indictment of the modern gaming culture where everything is in a Twitch clip, a 30-second Twitch clip, 140 characters on Twitter, whatever, a 60-second TikTok. If you can't fit it under a minute or 140 characters, no one's going to pay attention. So, what fits great into a Twitch clip? Well, a guy going, "This gun sucks. I can't believe I died to that." Right? That's nice and easy. No one actually cares if they're having good content out. It's all about if they're reaching enough people. It's this lowest common denominator bullshit that everyone's trying nowadays where they go, I don't care. I don't care if I get good impressions or bad impressions. I just want people to be talking about me, which I think is extremely dumb. That is like the lamest way to think about it.
I think that they're all just greedy. All they want is money,
Hmm.
and the best way for them to maintain the money that they're making right now is to get more views and more likes and more retweets. And well, how do you get the most engagement with your content? You complain about shit. You say
Hmm.
this is broken or this is unfair, and then tons of people will interact with you. Even and especially when you're completely wrong and you have no basis for your
Yeah.
accusations.
Well, yeah, I love bringing up this, but none of it is actually like statistic based or like has any real bearing in any truthful scenario. When they say, "Oh, this gun is so powerful," it's not like, "Oh, it does this much damage," versus they just say, like, "Oh, I died to it," or "That shouldn't be able to happen." It's all clearly running on emotion. And something that I always think about is when you and I used to do stats for Smash 4 years ago, and we did I think it was the Big House, I don't know, probably 2016 or something. And I remember like everyone at the time was complaining like, "Oh, you know, I think it was Smash. Everyone goes to Smashville. Everyone bans this stage. Everyone goes to Smashville. They go to Smashville too much. Smashville is the most picked stage of all time." And we did the stats in like top 32. It was like 24% chosen or something like that. And it was like, yeah, it's chosen a lot, but there was like not an overly significant amount considering the stage list and everything. So everyone's like, yes, it's chosen too much. I feel like every match is on Smashville, and we're like, yeah, about a quarter of them were, and we proved it. And I remember posting it on Reddit, and nobody fucking gave a shit. No one cares. And you say, yeah, you're actually all of you are wrong scientifically. I looked at every single stage that was played in top 32, and it was chosen, a quarter of the time, and it was like fucking crickets. No one cares if it's actually true or not. They like to go on their gut feeling. They don't like to be challenged, and like to say, the hot take of the day that everyone else is also thinking. Smash was too much, and then so that's what's currently trending. It's just, oh, this big name streamer said this gun's too strong, so I'm gonna say this gun's too strong, and we're gonna just complain about it together.
Yeah, it's a huge issue in every game that's competitive. I've been playing StarCraft 2 a lot recently, and that whole community, all they do is complain.
Hmm.
Where they complain about every race in the game. That it's like, oh, Protoss is too strong, or Zerg is too strong, or Terran is too strong, and you can get all three of those opinions from one Twitch chat. You'll have people
Yeah,
complaining about everything all
yeah,
the time, and I'm like, this is the most balanced game I've ever played or even seen.
yeah. I agree entirely. They're saying this one's too strong, and it's also fairly balanced. And I mean, like when you look at the competitive scene nowadays, though, it's like what games are having tournaments? CS:GO, snooze. No one gives a fuck about CS:GO. Uh, Valorant, Halo, Apex.
Valorant
Apex
sucks
is
too. Let's lump Valorant in with CS:GO. That game
okay, yeah,
sucks just as bad,
yeah, but
except it's worse.
it's new and has good graphics. Oh, here's another. I don't want to get started on it, but I will say that I really think that like the popularity of Valorant is like from skins and shit. I didn't realize like I have never once cared about a gun skin, like not a single time. I don't give a shit what my gun looks like. I want to kill people. I'm there to fucking stunt, and that's my entire goal. And I've been in games. I've probably played 35 games of Valorant. I've been trying to like learn it a little bit in my life, and this is recently in the last 4 months or something. I've played that, and like legit, probably 10 games in, people like he'll see a guy's gun skin and they'll ask them to drop it so that they can have their gun skin. Like they won't own it. You don't get it for your character. They just want to look at that gun skin while they play this round. And I was like, this is like you're sick in the head. You're a lunatic.
Yeah.
That's insane. Like, why would you have? It'd be like if we were playing basketball and I was like, "Yo, dude, let me wear your track pants. Let me wear your track pants. I love the way they look. Like, it's a psychotic personality trait to have. The people that care about gun skins and weapon skins and stuff like that. This is how I care about it. If I go into Apex and I've unlocked one of them for free, I go, "Oh, this one looks the best." of what I have and I put it on, and then I never change it again because I'm not playing Barbie dress up. I'm here to shoot and kill people. I don't
Yeah.
care. I don't understand why it's so driven by that. But so sorry, I got sidetracked, but that's what happens. I mean, it's just so funny. I played 30 games of Valorant and stuff like that happens. And but that's there's Halo in the pro scene, there's Valorant, there's Apex, there's CS:GO, Fortnite maybe. Like what big shooters? Guess there's Warzone, there's Call of Duty and Warzone tournaments too. And like those are like the big tournaments, but like I just don't there's no hype around it. It's not like it used to be with like, MLG. People just go and show up and it'd be like you would know the names of the players and you would know and you'd be like excited about what was happening. And now it's just like people they lose and they complain about how strong the gun is.
Yeah. Yeah,
I
but
mean,
even in the early days of esports, they were doing that. I specifically remember there was a League of Legends player from Europe. His name started with a K. He was a support player. I don't remember his name. But they kept doing interviews with him, being like, oh, what do you think about this? What do you think about this? And in every interview, he would harp on the same tiny advantage. At the time, this might still be true. I think this is like season 3 of League of Legends. The bot lane on one side of the map, so it'll be for like blue side, you have minions like in the jungle that the bot side can clear. So the support and AD carry can go and get a little bit of experience, and that has a huge effect on the rest of the lane because they have an experience advantage over their opponent who don't have monsters on that side of the bot lane that they could kill. So if you're on top side, there's just nothing on that side, or there
hmm
wasn't at the time. But every interview, he would be like, "Oh yeah, like we should win as long as we get red side." Like he would bring it up every question he was asked, and it's like this might be a balance issue, but I think it's the least significant one in your incredibly bad game because League of Legends is incredibly badly balanced. But he would just bring it up every single opportunity. They know what influence they have because they know that they're pro players.
yeah.
They know that people listen to them, and so they try to manipulate the the developers to do things that are advantageous to them. And you could see this on every single game, and you could see it in real life sports. They do the same thing.
hmm
It's just a personality trait of people that are that good at something trying to maintain their status of being that good at it. So they try to get every advantage they can so they can get the most money out of it. They do it
hmm
everywhere.
Yeah, and I think I think that's an important thing to bring up because I've said before, like competitive integrity is like long gone. We've said before, I would much rather I want to win a game against opponents that I know are skilled. So like if I win a game of Apex and I know that people like that's why you play ranked. If I know that I've beat everyone in my rank, I feel more skilled than if I had beaten a bunch of people who are super low ranked than me. That's why like people hate Smurfs on a surface level because you're just beating people who are much lower than you. And it'd be like if an NFL player snuck into a high school football game and just demolished everyone, right? Of course you're gonna beat them. There's no like, are you better than them? Yes. Is this a proof of your skill? Absolutely not. So something like that, I think for me, I've said before, it even goes deeper into like, if you are playing someone in Smash Bros. And they SD, it's like, yes, it's tragic for them, and yes, it's going to be a win, but is that like is there an asterisk there? Like, maybe it's like, are errors part of the game? Yeah, but like, what I mean, did you really overcome someone at the top of their game? So there's like a lack of, I think, competitive integrity in a lot of it. It's really just like win at at whatever cost I can.
Yeah,
At
absolutely.
whatever I can, whatever I can do to win, I'll win. But I will also say, on the flip side, if some people think something is so broken in a game that it is, you know, completely busted, then why not? The best way to get a developer to change it is to abuse it to the
Yeah.
point where they are forced to change it because they see what it's doing to the scene. Something that I like to bring up a lot is in Apex, people who are gigantic pussies complain that controller has aim assist, which, as you and I know, controllers had aim assist since controllers have been around. And I would say in most instances, I think that I think that aim assist does either nothing or I hate what it does to my controller. I've had instances in Apex, going back to Overwatch actually. I've had instances in Overwatch where you'll be looking down, say like you look down a hallway that has two entrances close to you and one entrance far to you, like on the side of a corridor or something perhaps. And I'm peeking at a guy all the way down at the end of it, 50 meters from me. But people are entering and exiting the middle pathway, right, and crossing my line of sight. Well, my aim assist while I'm like scoped in looking will like drag my controller away from the person I'm actually trying to shoot. It will like pull towards the person that so and it won't pull a lot, but like a person will run right to left for like 2 meters, and it'll pull me a half a meter to the right or something like that. And it's like, well, now it like literally fucked up my shot on the other person. I was waiting for them to come around the corner, and now it dragged it, and I'm not hitting them. And I'm like, well, it's just been a complete detriment to me. It has helped me, it has not helped me at all. And I also think on like super close engagements, it hasn't helped either, because I've had times in Apex and I've seen it. It's like hard to show in a video, but I can feel it on my controller when someone gets knocked down and they're crawling around and the other person on their team is close to them. I'll try and aim at the person on their team, and my controller will continually pull to the person knocked on the ground, and I have to fight against it to to shoot where I want. And it's like, I didn't ask for aim assist. I don't think that I need it. I've played without it. It's not crucial to the gameplay. I can aim with an Xbox controller. I've been doing it for 20 years. Uh, so again, I don't think aim assist is a problem, and people act like it aims for you. People act like you don't have to touch the right stick and it does everything for you. And then on top of that, if it's such a problem, then use it, right? If you're in a fucking $2 million LAN ALGS tournament, then use it. Then use aim assist. If it's that broken, then use it. And if it's not that broken, then it won't matter, correct? So I just don't understand why they don't. They're like, yes, this thing is broken. Also, I don't use it, but I want it out of the game. It's such a strange it's such a strange thing to ask for.
Yeah, that really aligns with the StarCraft people, because people complain about races they don't play
Hmm.
exclusively. So obviously, if they play Zerg, and they'll be like, "Oh, Protoss can just warp units into your base and shit," and like it's like, so play Protoss.
Yeah.
Like you're complaining so much, so just play Protoss
Yeah.
or play or like whatever you're complaining about. But they never do. They always they're always so full of shit. It's just like a grass is always greener type thing. It's like, oh well, if
Hmm.
they have this thing, it must be so much easier. And it's not realizing all the tons of differences between, like, say, Zerg and Protoss. Like Zerg has a ton of advantages over Protoss that Protoss doesn't have, and vice versa, because they're unique races.
Hmm.
The nature of asymmetric gaming. Now we all know that aim assist does not make up for how significantly more accurate that mouse and keyboard can be. So it's
Yes.
a very stupid thing to complain about.
That's just the thing that I can't get over either. Everyone and their mother knows if you've played both. And there's such a weird thing, and I get it must tie back into what we were talking about earlier. People just want to get engagement any way possible. Well, they'll go, I played keyboard for 20 years and I picked up a controller for the first time ever today and I played better. It's not humanly possible. It's a complete lie. It's complete fabrication. But for some reason, people are reading that and they go, because they want so badly to believe that aim assist is broken, that they like it and they respond, go, yeah, dude, aim assist sucks or whatever. It's a completely fabricated lie. There's no aim assist is not so broken that you can switch to a controller and just dominate a lobby. There's no way. Um, and like mouse and keyboard aiming is just better. It's just that they aren't good at aiming. So when they get smoked close range, they just go, "Oh, this is a problem. I didn't lose because I'm bad at aiming, or because I took a one-on-one fight in it and they outshot me, or because my movement was bad, or because this, because that. I lost this fight because he has a technical advantage because he's using a controller and I'm not, and
Yeah,
that's why I lost. And they can't
they're
take
they're
any
avoiding
losses.
blame.
Yes.
It's not their fault that they lost, and that's really what it comes down to. They're too afraid for it to be their fault that they died. So the shotgun's too strong, or he has aim assist, or whatever.
Yeah. And I think that I've said this before, but I think that it ties a lot into, and now it's not completely alleviated, obviously, in real sports, but to be an esport athlete, you literally just have to be good at it. There's tons of stories about how I was very good at a game. I got noticed by someone because I'm insanely good. Now I'm on a pro team. And that's happened. I mean, that's how most of them, I would think, do it. You just show that you're good in a tournament or something like that, right? If you're good, you're just gonna be better than everyone around you, and you can very easily get into a tournament scene and things like that. But like when you're in sports, right, it's very hard to go from amateur to high level to pro without being insanely good. And also along the way, what you're learning is like social skills, because you can't, like, if I were to be, I bring this up all the time too. If I were, if you're in a game Apex, how many times have you seen a person on my team immediately curse me out or tell me to kill myself or some psychotic thing, or just like scream in my ear or do a dumb play, and then yell at me, right? Imagine you're on a basketball court with four other people, you're playing a 5-on-5, and one guy on your team misses a shot and three people just scream in his face and say, "You fucking suck. Get off our team. Quit the game." Right? That would be psychotic.
Yeah.
It's an insane thing to do. And so in when you play actual sports, you learn like you can't act like this to other people. But in gaming, you never learn that, and you never learn a ton of that. Like coaches aren't saying like, "Hey, have some humility. Have some like pull in your hubris a little bit." There's nothing like that. You'll see people in sports all the time. You'll see like big time athletes. I mean, let's look at Roger Federer. He's like, you'll see him be like, "Hey, good game to my opponent. He played really well. Um, I just happen to be, I was able to hit my serves, blah blah blah, right?" But they always like, it's never like they come out after the fact and they go, "Yeah, he fucking sucks" or whatever. There's no like sportsmanship in gaming, and I think that as a direct follow up of that, there's like no sportsmanship. It's like they're not taking blame for their losses. They're just saying, "I didn't lose this because I'm not talented. I lost this because he's cheating, he's hacking, he's using an unfair advantage because of his controller, blah 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 blah, whatever. The gun's too strong, whatever." It's like all like what I mean. Like Roger Federer is not like, "Yeah, I lost to Nadal today because he has like a really good racket. I didn't upgrade, I didn't tighten my strings on my thing." He would never say that that'd be psychotic, right? Imagine like even pros don't do that. Even like really shitty pros like in basketball or something. Patrick Beverly is like a hard-nosed defender who like trash talks people, and he's never like, "Yeah, he hit that shot on me because he has better shoes," right? It just doesn't happen. They can't deflect blame because they're going to just look at the tape and see that he got cooked, right? Because it's in the spotlight and because their entire lives, like people will check him on it. There's reporters afterwards, and there's what's he going to say to his coach? Like, "Oh, coach, dude, he'd be like, I don't fucking care, hit the shot," right? So like, there's people holding you accountable and correcting your behavior in that way. But in gaming, what you do is you say that those shitty takes on Twitter, and you have 10,000 people coming to your aid and saying, "Yes, I agree with you." And it really promotes this environment of like just continually complain, don't seek to improve your game, and also develop like a really bad culture around the game itself, which trickles down into what I see when I play.
Yeah. Now, on the professional sports point, I would say that you could see the behavior from esports where people complain in the fan bases. So like none of the people that lost to the Patriots were like those motherfuckers had deflated their football.
Mm-hmm.
None of the people that lost to the Astros were really like, "Oh, these fuckers had a garbage can. They were reading our signs."
Mm-hmm.
The fan bases were the ones that were like, "Oh, they cheated. They cheated." So you see that, and then you look at esports, and the top players in those do not mirror how professional the top like real sports athletes have to be in order to maintain all their sponsorships and shit. But they still get sponsorships like, dude, like BMW has like sponsorships for some of these esports teams.
Mm-hmm.
It's insane. I saw a commercial the other day for like Kia, and it was on like a video game stream, and it was like doing like a video game themed commercial on Twitch. I was like, what the hell's going on? It was like for some shitty tournament. I'm like, is this real life? Like, why?
What a
But yet
nightmare.
they act like complete scumbags that can't handle a loss on a public forum, and then they maintain all their sponsorships.
I mean, it just hit me right now, and I feel honestly incredibly stupid for it. But it's like we call them esports pros. It's like, but they're the opposite, professional. I've
Yeah,
never seen anyone in the esports scene be professional. They don't like shake of hands with their opponents. Like, I guess obviously you can't do it when you're in person, but no one has tact, no one has grace, no one has humility, no one can take a victory. Like the victories feel more hollow because all of their losses have them crying about it afterwards.
yeah.
They can't take losses with humility, so their victories don't feel as powerful to me. Um, that being said, I do think that like in certain scenes, oh hell yeah, in certain scenes, I think that like we obviously love a personality in the scene, right? You love a nice, cool, a person who's cool and interesting, but like that personality is never someone who's just tearing everyone down around him. The cool personalities are people that are just like having fun or are very talented at the game, but then give credit to other people or know that their supporting cast had a role in it, right? But that sort of stuff, I can't think of a single person who has that sort of mentality. I mean, I watch a lot of sports. You could look at Joe Burrow, third season in the league. Last season, there's like clips of him mic'd up on the sidelines, or like they literally score a touchdown drive, and he goes up and he goes, "Hey, O line, that this entire drive wouldn't have been possible without you guys." And he's the quarterback, right? He's a star. He's the franchise. Everyone's looking at him. He's insanely famous, insanely talented. But then on the sidelines, which is not publicized to very many people, if you're not looking for it, is him going and thanking his teammates for it. But it's still like I mean, you just don't see things like that, right? You never see people in their post game interview in Apex or in Halo go, oh, you know what? This guy hit his shots. I was able to help because my teammate was hitting the shots. He was covering my side. He amplified my play, and then I did what had to be done. Or what's such a great looking back on it. I used to hate it in sports, but now I wish people would just do this all the time. They'll give like a very like for journalism answer. They go, oh, we went out there and did what we had to do. When they're mad at their teammates who played like shit, right? They go, oh, you know, we just have to execute. We just have to
Yeah.
execute better as a team. They don't do stuff like that. There's no professionalism to it. There's no tact. They go, oh yeah, like they'll drop you at the fucking in an instant. Oh yeah, who bottom fragged? Get them off the team. Get some fucking guy out here who can shoot better than that, right? It's very cut and dry. There's no like improvement. It's like it's cutthroat in a bad way. But um, again, these pros are just like trickling down all this bad stuff. When I get into games, like I'll get into PC lobbies and just people instantly like are so toxic. Everyone knows. Everyone sees it. Everyone has experiences of being in Overwatch, League of Legends, Apex. Every game, they're just like, yeah, I don't go on mic because people are psychotically toxic.
Yeah. Yeah, that's one of like the rules of a lot of those games is they'll just mute your whole team as soon as the game starts.
Yeah. Well, I
It's
would like
insane.
to point out in the middle of this rant, we say like obviously I'm being hyperbolic in saying that nobody has these good traits, but I would like to give a shout out to you because you tell me that after every game of StarCraft you say good game, well played to your opponent no matter what.
Yeah, most people don't even say GG. They just surrender.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's it's something to be said that I've done this before, and it's honestly it is extremely disheartening. I used to do it in Overwatch when I would try and you'd see online people going, "Oh yes, it's so toxic. I hate doing this." I would say, you know what? I will combat the toxicity. And I can still go to my Xbox messages and find it. I used to have a policy, a personal policy, that after every game, no matter what, one person, either on my team or the other team, I would private message and tell them they had a good game. Like if they're actually, I wouldn't just say it to someone, but like if the Cassidy on the other team got a quintuple kill, I'd message him after the game, like, dude, you blew us out with that incredible quintuple, like GG. And 90% of the time, I would say no one responded, and very occasionally they'd say, oh, thanks you too, or something like that. But most of the time, it was just dead silence, just radio silence, and it's like it's impossible to promote. You can't do it on an individual level. You can't promote an entire culture of positivity um, without having some form of
Some platform.
platform. Yes, exactly. So and that's why like no pros are doing that really. I mean, and if you want to get deep into it, like look at Overwatch pros. Like there's like a joke about it. We talk about it in Smash Bros too, but they're like a bunch of them are like sexual predators and they're like constantly getting in trouble for shit
Yeah.
like that.
Real quick, I want to go back to the GG thing. I
Hmm.
I learned recently there was a tournament where a player named Special, he's a Mexican player. He's probably the best player from Mexico. He plays Terran, and he was playing against someone that they didn't GG, and this is in a tournament match. They didn't GG out. They just surrendered.
Yeah.
And so in the next game, he like types to him a whole bunch, and they were like arguing in text, and you could like see that on the screen when
Yeah.
like even if it's in tournament, and it's like you could see them talking to each other. I forget what they said, but then he did another thing where he dropped like it's called a manor mule, where you drop a mule next to your army to show him like, oh, I don't even need this mule because I'm beating you so bad, like I already won. And then like he like talked a bunch of trash, and they like fined him like 3% of his winnings from that tournament because of that. It was all in game.
For
It was
for the
like
so
yeah, it
the,
was
the
like
Mexican player
1% per
said
infraction.
so he said GG and then next game the guy just surrendered and then so to like retaliate he like bad mannered him a little bit.
Yeah, he did BM stuff, bad manner stuff, and the guy was like, "Oh, what the hell?" And he's like, "Learn to GG," because the guy hadn't GG'd, and he like one of the infractions they said was the manner mule was like considered bad manners, so they fined him. It was like 1% per infraction that he had, and so one of them was like him talking shit, and another one was him talking shit, but one of them was the fucking manner mule. Like
How
he
do you
dropped
how
the
do you
mule
feel
down.
about that?
I thought it was very corny of them to take his money for that
Yeah.
reason. It seemed like they were just like, oh, we can we have an excuse now to give him less money, so let's just keep that money for ourselves. That's what it seems like to me.
Hmm.
But I don't know where this money goes and the like how the system they have set up works. But it just seemed mad corny.
Well,
Just let him talk
it's
trash.
I understand entirely. I've been in this very similar scenario when I say it a lot. Like I don't want teammates who are insanely respectful. Just don't be a dickhead. And the simplest thing to do is when you sit like is to fall is have basic manners, right, and treat each other with a modicum of an iota of respect. Is all I ask. I would sabotage. And now here's the problem: where I've had this happen, where they disrespect you in such a small way, and it bothers me to my core. And I've thrown games. I'm not proud to admit it, but I've had a game where in Apex, you could dibs items, and I'm very much about the rule of dibs. And when I've had a guy, a care pack came down. At the beginning of Apex, there used to be gold items in the in-game care packs, and two gold items were on it. I would say like a gun and a helmet or whatever. And the guy that dropped, or the pack that dropped it next, the guy he pinged the gold helmet and the gold gun, and I think I dibsed one of them. Whatever, let's say the helmet. And then my teammate was a Pathfinder, and he took both of them. And I was like typing in chat. I was like, dude, give me one. Like, it's just not cool. I dibsed one. Just give me the one I get. Like, he did nothing. I was just shooting him in the back with all my ammo over and over. Like, it does nothing to him, but I was just like wasting my ammo on him. It pissed me off. Well, we end up like, I'm just doing this. I'm not playing the rest of the game. I'm just like following around and shooting him. We get to top three. It's us and two other teams. We get into a fight. He gets knocked down. I clutch the fight, and then I empty all of my ammo on him and quit the game. So we just lost in second place, and I was like, I know that I shouldn't do it. I know that it's doing nothing, but if they have absolutely no consequence at all for being pieces of shit, then they won't learn.
Yeah.
So I know that like, and again, he could have very much reported me, and it would say, oh, quit the game or whatever, right? I would have he what did he do in game that I can report? Was a dickhead, or like, wasn't being respectful, was like, hoarding loot or whatever. It's not, you're not allowed to do that, right? But as a human being on a human level, like, you shouldn't, don't hoard all. We win and lose as a team. I say it nonstop. I try and build my team up. You share the loot. If everyone has better loot, we all succeed. And he got knocked. It was the perfect icing on the cake. He got knocked. I clutched the fight, and then I just quit the game. And I might have just stood on his body and let them kill me or something like that. But I was just like, sometimes sometimes I can take the high ground and just ignore them and then go on to the next game, say GG, move on, whatever, keep it pushing. But sometimes I just have to go like, if this motherfucker doesn't get a lesson now, he's not going to learn, because all he sees is people letting him do this, right? So I have to be sometimes I want to be that force, but it's like, is it really going to matter? I don't know, because all they go, this guy probably just goes online and sees people complaining about my fucking teammates or whatever, right? It's another thing that pros and shit do. Oh, you know what? Here's a great example of. Well, I'm not sure if I wouldn't count this as a pro, but I do have beef with a guy in the Apex community. Let me get this name up. I used to have the VOD. I'm not sure if I made a clip of it. When I was streaming once, I was with Abe. We get into a PC lobby. I'm on Xbox, Abe is on PC, and we get in game with another person. He's a Watson, and we land on the corner of the map. We rotate in like two POIs, and we're moving into the map pretty good. And the entire time, as soon as we drop, this guy said, "Can you ping?" He's playing Watson. He said, "Can you ping Ultimate Accelerants for me? I'm making content." And the entire me and Abe are laughing the entire time, going, um, "This is crazy. Like, what do you mean you're making content?" And he's not on mic. He's just typing, and we're talking in game chat. Like, what we're like, yeah. Oh, dude, do you need this? It's for content, and like pinging a shield, just busting his balls. He's not saying anything. I like typed back at one point, and then later on he said it again. We get like two POIs in. Hey, let me know if you see ultimate accelerants. I'm making content. Watson has a special passive where if they use an ultimate accelerant, it charges their ultimate instantly. It goes to 100 no matter what. And her ultimate is that she puts like a pylon down, like an interceptor pylon that stops all projectiles, not all non-bullet projectiles, from passing through a radius around it, and it charges her tactical faster, which is like those electric fences.
Okay.
And so he's like, we get into a we go up this hill in Storm Point, where they have those big like Jurassic Park fences with the big metal doors, and we go through the door. He's getting in a fight. Uh, I pull up and I fully heal, and he runs past me and drops an interceptor, and which is his ultimate. And as he does it, he like goes in front of me. So I move up, and there's like two people. I don't know where we're getting shot from. I think it's like two teams. We're on the side of a hill. We're like right in the middle of this thing. It's not a really great place to be. So I see one guy in front of us. I move up to fight him. There's a guy to my left. I get knocked. I go, oh shit. Abe goes up to help me, and then Abe turns around, and this guy goes back to the other side of the wall. He goes back to the other side of the thing, our teammate, and he starts pinging over there. So Abe circles back, starts shooting him, and the guy does it again and comes back to the other side. So the guy comes back to where my body is, pushes the same two people, gets knocked, gets turned into a death box instantly, and quits. Quits before Abe was even dead. And we go, dude, like this is fucking insane. This is like, what the hell? This guy's making content. Well, Magic Man hits me up a couple weeks later, and he goes, dude, look at this. And this guy has a TikTok where he's doing the bronze to diamond ranked guidelines for everyone on his TikTok, and he has a clip of me in there, and it goes, here's what you got to listen to your team. Here I am, we're set up with Watson fences and an interceptor. This lifeline runs out in front of us and gets killed and died. Dumb move or something like that. And I commented, I was like, this is fake. This is a fake clip. This is not in ranked. I'm in a PC lobby. You were not on comms. You said you were making content, and then you did the same thing I did 10 seconds later and died. And my comment got no thing. He has like 50,000 followers on TikTok or something. I was like, it's completely made up. It's completely facetious. Nothing that he was saying in his clips were true. He didn't calm. We were on the side of a hill. We weren't like bunkered down with Watson shit. We were getting shot at. I had nowhere to go. I was trying to move up to a rock, and there ended up being two people there. It was just unfortunate circumstances. And then he did the same thing 10 seconds later and quit the game. He just used a clip of me dying 20 feet in front of him to say that I made a bad play because I moved out of the Watson cover. And I was like, this is like, it's so indicative of this psychotic like behavior of like pros nowadays, where it's like he's not even a pro. He's not that good at the game. But it's like this idea that you can he's like completely fabricating the stuff. I just couldn't get over it that he has 66,000 Twitter follow or TikTok followers. His name is Gadsden. He has like oh, you need to have crossbar placement, massive. Here's your breakdowns. Do this. Res your teammates this way. I'm coaching you online and on TikTok or whatever. And he was just completely blasting me, like zoomed in on my name as if I had made a single mistake. When it's like, you know what I mean? I was like, I have the. No one cared. Again, when I had the receipts. No one cared. No one said, dude, prove it or whatever. I had the VOD. I made a clip of the entire thing happening. I made a clip from earlier in the game where this guy dropped and typed onto the screen. It showed up on my screen where he says, ping Ultimate Accelerants, I'm making content. And we weren't in a ranked game. And you know what's, here's the craziest thing. People don't care. When they want to support this guy, they do it in spite of evidence. I commented like this isn't even a ranked game, and someone's like, "Oh, someone comments, doesn't matter. If you make these mistakes in pubs, you're gonna make these mistakes in ranked and bring down your team." And I'm like, that is absolutely false. Everyone on here is psychotic. They think that it's like these armchair coaches. It's the same way. Remember when Aaron Hansen, Ego Raptor, made that video game analysis video, and then everyone watched it and thought that they could analyze every single video game and how it was made?
Yeah.
That's what's happening now, where like one person does like a breakdown of what's happening in the game, and then everyone watches that video and thinks that and they just use that same example to extrapolate a person's entire playstyle from here to forever.
Yeah, everyone's an analyst. Even though
Yes.
they're bad at the game.
Yes.
And they go on TikTok for tips and tricks on how to get better.
Yeah.
Yet they're a fucking analyst.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like that's why I have like thousands of hours in the game. You've seen me. I go on stream, I'm on Xbox, I get in PC lobbies and I dominate. It doesn't matter. They have all the advantages in the world. I will shred them. And yet this guy tries to blast me because of this pro scene idea. You know what I mean? It's like it's completely fabricated. I can't get over how nothing that he said was true. Right? I get knocked down the fight and die, right? It happens to everyone a billion times a day. Everyone that plays Apex dies several times, right? It's just one death. I didn't do anything egregious. We were stuck on the side of a hill getting shot at by two teams. Like there's nothing I could do. So, but regardless, it's like he completely made it up and just glossed over it. But no one cared when I challenged it. No one said like. Everyone just wants to go, yeah, my teammates are bad too, dude. My teammates run out and die too. I'm not bad. My teammates are bringing me down.
Yeah, they don't want information. They just want someone that agrees with them. That's
the
all
problem
anyone
is,
wants.
I don't know if it's pro at this level or if it's like semi-pro or people that are just like good shooters. That's the problem with Apex specifically, I think. In Halo, your gun skill, your raw gun skill can supersede everything, right? If you're just good at aiming, you don't really need to be good at anything else.
Yeah.
You don't need to think about anything else. But and I've said this before. I did an entire podcast episode on it. But Apex is not like that. You have to have like war tactics throughout the whole thing if you want to do really well the whole time. Obviously, there's stipulations on that, and if you're like a pro at the top level, you could just bulldoze everyone. But there's people that just like run at every fight and get killed and leave, and they think, and then they go online and they go, yeah, my teammates suck. It's like this. You blame your teammates when you die, and then when you succeed, it's also I carried them. It's this complete pro level culture of I did it all myself. No one helped me. I overcame the controller aim assist issues and I beat this broken gun. I did it all, right? But then when you lose, it's you have a caveat now that I lost because of all those bad things. I lost because I have a bad teammate and they were using a busted gun and they had aim assist.
Yeah, people blaming their teammates is one of like the all-time greatest excuses for all video games. I was playing StarCraft 2 one time, and I was just playing two versus the AI. So it was two humans versus the computer, and I was one of the humans. This dude, very beginning of the game, he goes to cannon rush the computer. The computer at the level of difficulty I was at, they always scout for a cannon rush, and so they see it instantly. And the dude got mad at me because he thought I'd sent like my own scout in there, that he thought that my scout like dragged the computer out to look at him. He was like, "Oh, dude, what the fuck? You got my cannon rush spotted." And I was like, "No, I didn't. The computer always scouts. You suck." And so his response was to build cannons outside my base and attack me when I was his fucking teammate.
What
I'm
a
like, dude,
psycho.
we're playing against the computer, and you got like mad at your teammates. I've gotten mad at my teammates before playing against the computer, but I'm just like, wow, this guy just sucks. Like,
Yeah.
I've never like he ruined my strategy. It's just like,
I've
wow,
also
it's just
never
hard to win 2v1, and my teammate was a guy who's clearly new to the game, and that's why he's playing against the computer.
Everyone thinks that, right? You have times when you're more talented than your teammate and you think, damn, this guy fucking sucks. But just fucking internalize it and move on. You're never going to see this person again. Like, imagine if LeBron, everyone knows the meme where J.R. Smith ran the wrong way and they lost the game and LeBron had his arms outstretched and he's like screaming at him or whatever. But there was no like post game interviews where he's like, yeah, fuck J.R. Smith.
Yeah.
My team, he sucks, dude. We only lost because of him. He just handled it with tact. He handled it like a normal person. They moved on from it, right?
Yeah, I remember that interview. They were trying to bait him into talking shit about his
Mm-hmm.
teammate, and he just wouldn't do it. He got up and left.
Yeah, exactly. Because he's like he has tact. I mean, he's professional. That's what they're there for.
Yeah.
Like you shouldn't be. It shouldn't be just because you're good at the game. It should be because you're a consummate professional in attitude as well. And that doesn't really exist in this. And I think the problem now, it didn't used to matter before. You could be a fucking piece of shit, but you had no following. It didn't matter. Now you have a following in spite of yourself. I know people who don't have Twitters and they have rabid fans running around going like what I mean, like going nuts for them, making excuses for them even when they don't do it. Like the internet has exacerbated it to a horrible degree where everyone like has all these excuses all the time. So I mean, I think that my personal way to combat it is obviously there's nothing you can do except for do it with the people around you. I don't let people. I mean, I do go off the handle from time to time when I have bad teammates, but I never say it to them. I don't go on. I don't get on the mic and go, "You fucking suck, dude." I mute myself and I talk to my stream. I say, "These guys blow."
Yeah, I would get mad at my teammates in 2 versus AI in StarCraft, but then eventually I was just like, well, I just need to be able to handle a 2v1. I mean, it's just a fucking computer.
Yeah,
And I never ever talk shit and was like, oh, you suck dick. I never talk shit to my teammates. I
yeah.
always just assumed, oh, this guy's doing this weird build because he doesn't know how to play the game right. How can I get
Something
mad at him? The game's hard.
something that I thought is even funnier too when you think about like you're exactly right and like I would never reach out to them in text or whatever, even in game chat, and say like, yeah, you blow, dude, because just like what's the point? He's my teammate, right?
Yeah.
But I've had people like people don't like me because of my character picks in Overwatch. I remember like I've played Junkrat for the entirety of the game and he didn't used to be like a big pick. People used to hate him. But we'd be in a game and we're losing, an objective based game, and someone would message me and be like, "Yeah, you fucking suck, dude. KYS." And I just don't respond. There's nothing you could say that's gonna make these people like I'm not gonna fix them from an Xbox message. But something that is insane is that they have the gall, they have the audacity to do this. It's like I'll have finished the game with the card for like MVP. I'll have the most damage. I'll have the most kills. I'll have the most objective time. And they message me and go, dude, you fucking suck. And I'm like, that's insane. It's like, imagine the Super Bowl MVP this year is Cooper Cup, right? He won. Imagine the wide receiver number 2 coming up and be like, dude, you blow. Like
Yeah.
we almost lost because of you. And it's like he was a statistical anomaly last year. He had the triple crown. He was Super Bowl MVP. He was balling out. Imagine like his teammates come up like, dude, you're the fucking reason why, dude. Come on, like that's insane, right? That's insane behavior.
Yeah,
Yet,
it's crazy.
yet we let everyone do it in the pro scene and in high level scenes. And we're getting away from what I originally wanted to talk about. So I'm gonna circle back and say that above all of this, above them reaching into commonplace behaviors and having no tact and no professionalism, is they still at the end of the day complain about things that get changed in the base game and that we
Yeah.
now have to deal with.
They have an unreasonable amount of influence over the developers' decisions.
Hmm.
They don't deserve that much influence because they're
Mhm.
not as smart as they think they are.
Yeah.
And
I
none of
mean,
these people know how to design games. I get very upset. In StarCraft again, there's this guy Winter who's not even a pro player. He's just a streamer. I'm pretty sure he's really good at the game. But he released like a whole infographic about the fucking balance changes he wanted for each race, and it's like these are all terrible.
mhm.
Like objectively, like anyone looking at them knows they're bad. And I can't tell if he's just doing it, like I said before, just to get more engagement by putting out bad opinions because then more people respond to it, or if he really sincerely thinks that he's smart enough to redesign StarCraft.
Yeah.
I can't tell.
I mean, like that's so insane, right? Like they have a team of people who have been doing it for years to like micro change percentages across things to make it tighter and more balanced, right? And then some guys like, why not just give them this ability? I
Yeah,
fixed it.
my favorite is when someone suggests a change that's like, oh well, this type of thing should have this brand new mechanic that
Yes.
doesn't exist anywhere else in the game yet. They should have this, and then someone's like immediately like, well, that sounds a little bit strong, and so they even know that in their head. So when they're typing out the little Reddit post, they're like, but it can't do this, this, and this. Like it has this restriction. It's like you're already having to nerf your idea before it even exists.
Yes.
Like you don't know what you're doing. Please stop.
I would see that. Reddit I think should be bombed off the face of the earth
I
because
absolutely agree with
let's
that.
blow up Reddit headquarters.
It's a haven for propaganda and misinformation.
I'll constantly see, even beyond that, just like people go, "What do you think about this change to this character in Apex?" And like, we decided to give Ash, like this. What do you think about user Butt Cheese 62's idea for Ash changes? And it's like, yeah, we decided to give her a laser lightsaber sword that's 200 damage per slash. And it's like, what do you guys think about it? It's got 60,000 fucking likes, and people are like, yeah, I love it. I'm like, this sounds brain dead. This would ruin the entire game. I can't believe a single person liked this. This sounds like
Yeah.
a 10th grader made it.
Yeah,
He was
and
like,
it
yeah,
often
and
is.
then I think that Ash should turn into Goku and she could shoot a Kamehameha at Naruto. Everyone's like, they don't think, they just think, like, what is cool? Oh, this is actually, I'm going to get off a tangent really quick. You know what I just saw the other day? I
What's
constantly
that?
get Dragon Ball Z clips on my timeline, and somebody posted a clip of like the original like Japanese dub of Gohan shooting a Kamehameha at Cell's Kamehameha and like deflecting it or whatever. And somebody's like, he should have shot a Masenko. It would have been cool. That's like his signature ability. And someone's like, Masenko is not more powerful than Kamehameha. And the guy was like, yeah, you could just write it that way, that it is. And he's like, but it's not a more powerful ability. It wouldn't make any sense. And the guy's like, but you could have just wrote it that way. And I was like, yeah, I was like, these people just don't think. They just love arguing about, like, you know what I mean? That guy had no basis. He's like, yeah, but the Masenko's not more powerful. I'm like, you're just making this up. Like, you know what I mean? Like, there's no
Yeah.
stat book for all Dragon Ball Z things. It's like it's been the same spell, the same ability, whatever. Like
There actually is though.
Is
You
there?
don't know that movie Moneyball? That was actually about Dragon Ball, not baseball.
Oh, okay. It's a Dragon Ball, Money Dragon Ball. But they like the Kamehameha has been around since Dragon Ball, the original. Like Goku used it, and he's still using it, right? So the ability obviously has to do with how strong Goku is.
Yeah.
It's not like on its own. There's some sort of weird multiplier in there. Just reason, logic. You can just suss that out. It's just so funny. These people are they're so cocksure and so dumb at the same time.
Yeah, they're so arrogant in their
Yes.
stupidity. It's
Yes.
amazing.
I can't get over it. The loudest, most opinionated people are also the dumbest and can take zero criticism. And also they're the best at the game, so everyone listens to them.
Yeah, Because they have some kind of fucking mental deficiency that
It's
makes
a
them good at
problem.
video games and bad at everything else in life.
It's a problem. Well, here's what I would say. I've said this time and time again. If we want to change this, I know someone with at least a single brain cell has got to be listening to this. If you want to change this, what you have to do is a couple of things. You have to promote that positivity. Take a page out of Ice's book. Say GG after every match. Don't flame your teammates. Try and be a positive light because you know what? It's going to make their day. Maybe they turn around and be positive to someone else. Maybe we can start a little chain here. We got to get positivity. We got to get humility. We have to get grace and tact back into the game, all right? We have to get some sportsmanship back into esports, okay? Let's bring the sportsmanship back into esports. And two, don't listen to any fucking pro players. If you want to get better at the game, this is my advice, and it's the best advice that ever existed, and no one ever says it. Record yourself playing and watch your fucking footage.
Yeah.
When you watch yourself back, you're gonna be like, I look like a fucking dumb idiot here. I do it. I think I'm pretty good at Apex. I'm Diamond 3 this season, and I'll go in and I'll look at my. Sometimes I'm trying to make clips of my stream, and I'll go back. I'm like, what am I doing right here? I'm just like standing still. I'm looking at the wall. I'm doing some dumb thing. There's always room for improvement. Don't listen to pros because they want to drive engagement. So the pro tip is going to be, what's the best way to win? Do this one trick, right? It doesn't exist, obviously, right? You need a complete overhaul of your game, or you need to like have dedicated practice on certain facets that need fixing. So you need to identify what needs fixing by looking at your own footage. So don't listen to pros for game tips or for anything else because they can't explain to you why they're good at the game. They don't know. They just can shoot really well and they can play really well. It's not like what's one thing to help me get better. It's not gonna be like you need to work on your movement, you need to work on your shooting. No, it's like you have to have it's an entire thing, right? It's an entire package. If it was just one thing, then everyone would be good. You just focus on that one thing. So let's be more humble. Let's bring sportsmanship back into sports, okay? Let's be nicer to our teammates. I'm leading the charge, okay? I'm out there doing it.
Yeah, and I really want to stress how untrustworthy pro players are.
Hmm.
I can give a great example, and this has to do with Zero, the statistically, empirically, provably best of all time at Super Smash Bros. 4.
Yes.
I met him, by the way, and I'm not a fan of him in person,
Okay.
but that's not relevant. Here's the example I have. There was a time he played Nairo in grand finals for a tournament. Don't remember which one. And Nairo playing Zeus and Samus hit him with a down smash, which is a stun that hits the ground, and it hit Zero's character. And then Nairo followed up with a forward smash, and it would have killed him, but Zero fell out of it. It's a two-hit forward smash. He fell out of the second hit. If you played Smash and you know about Zero's Samus, you know what I'm talking about with the down smash to forward smash.
Hmm.
So I saw there Zero did a Reddit AMA, and someone asked him, "Hey, did you just get lucky with that play? Did you and just fall out of that attack, or did you do something to get out of it?" And Zero's response was that he held down when he got down smashed as a stun move. Holding down reduces the amount of time that you're stunned, and then he did smash DI, which is when you shake your controller in a direction so that when you get hit from the first hit of Zero Suit Samus's forward smash, he smashed DI'd away so that he wouldn't get hit by the second hit. He claimed to have done both of those things. Now, I know for a fact, having looked at people that harvest the data from the game,
Hmm.
neither of those things are possible. they were possible, presumably in Brawl or some other game, but neither of them were true. So Zero claimed on the internet, he was like, "Oh yeah, that was all skill. I did not get lucky. I did this and this." When you can't smash SDI, Zero Suit Samus's forward smash, it's like there's a value in the game that says you can't do it here. It's set to 0. And you can't reduce the time of the stun by holding down. This is not a thing that exists in Smash 4. So they'll just lie to make themselves look better. Also, that guy's Zero, his roommate Blue, tried to rape one of our friends, Shane. And
Oh
Shane
yeah.
mentioned this on Twitter. And he also lost his contract with Facebook Gaming because he was sharing on his stupid Discord server porn with minors.
Hmm.
So you can't trust him because
He
he's a
also
pedophile.
he
Maybe
also
it's a little bit
messaged
different
he
to
also
Smash.
messaged the same minor who was like 14 and asked while he was dating a girl and asked her to rub ice on her nipples and her pussy or something like that.
That's pretty crazy.
This
I
is
don't know about that.
this is verifiable. He was showing porn to them and he was asking her to ice herself. Yeah, so
you
he
said
was
before he's trying to come back too.
yeah, he was the undisputed best player in the world at Smash 4. He won
Yeah, but
50 fucking tournaments straight.
But he was a scumbag in that sense too.
Yes.
To get that many wins, and I know this because I was a TO for 4 years in Smash, and I know some side players. I had Kid Goggles come to my house and play, people that are known. And here's the thing: I know for a fact that Zero was paying people to take notes on who might be his opponent in future
Hmm.
tournaments. Like he'd be in a tournament and he'd have to play his match, and there'd be someone else on the other side of the bracket that would like the winner of that match plays him next. So he would pay people to go up and take notes on that match, and then hand him the notes, and then he would destroy the guy because he knows
Yeah,
like he doesn't have to read him anymore. He already literally read the book on his opponent.
yeah.
So like they'll do shit that's like outside of the game to get themselves an advantage. They will
Absolutely.
all
There's
do
also
this.
that like coaching scandal thing where they said like they said like in between during a set in between games coaching was not allowed, and Zero would have like a guy come up to the stage, and in between games he would just turn around and the guy would tell him shit, and he would just turn back around and no one would challenge him on it. And it happened all, and they'd be like, "Yeah, isn't that coaching?" And they'd be like, "Oh, it took 10 seconds. It's not a big deal." And
Yeah,
it was happening nonstop, and it was like a
yeah.
it was like a scandal for a little bit where it was like, why is he allowed to do this? I would get kicked out of a tournament if I did this.
Yeah, and it speaks to competitive integrity, like you were saying before. There is none because
Yeah.
they'll let top players, especially in Smash. I don't know about other scenes as much as I know about Smash. They will let top players get away with murder.
I mean,
Like
even
they
recently,
almost let
like
them get away with molesting children.
they do let them get away with it. I mean, there people are on. There's like a Nairo molested somebody, and there's like a free Nairo hashtag that's popular in the Smash scene,
Yeah,
and people are
he countered that by saying, "No, no, no, he raped me."
yeah, people
But
are
it's
people
like,
are. I mean, wait. So he raped you by sucking your dick when he was 16 and you were 20, and
yeah,
okay, this is something that I've always said before. I don't. I absolute complete disrespect to Ally because he also molested the same kid. But
yeah,
but when he got in trouble, he quit the scene entirely, and then people asked him to come back, and he's repeatedly said, "No, I don't think that's a good idea. I will stay out of it forever." And so I think he's a giant piece of shit, and he's awful. But at least he understands that you're unwelcome, and it's not worth it to fight to play a game. And that's like what everyone else is doing, where it really brings a lot of hate out of me when I see someone like Zero who has done these awful things come forward, and then people say, that was in the past, man. He's probably learned from that. Let's let him back in. Why do they
yeah,
want to
man.
let him
People
back in? Because he's
change.
the best. And it's like, yeah, I don't give a shit if he changed. I don't give a fuck if he's Mother Teresa now all of a sudden. You just don't come back. You lost your privilege to play this game when you were a gigantic piece of shit sexual abuser, predator adjacent. I don't give a fuck, whatever. I'm not mincing words with this because it's like, you know what will never happen to me? No one will ever be like, oh man, remember when you were hitting on that 14-year-old? I've had this argument with Smashers nonstop, so I don't want to go too deep into this, but like, they always want to be. I've had an argument at someone's house where I said like, I've met people at Smash. I've met young people at Smash, and I'm older. I just don't associate with them. I'm not friends with them. We play the same video game. We're not friends. And someone was like, "Oh, well, I met this girl. He was 20, 21 at the time, or maybe in 22. He's like, I met this girl. She's 16, 17. She's new to the scene." I was like, "Don't. You're not friends with her. What do you guys have in common?" He's like, "Oh, well, we like anime like this." I was like, "You're not friends. She's in high school. She's doing homework, and you go to 10 Smash tournaments a month. Stop fucking talking to them. Don't get their socials, right? People act like this happens, like this sexual assault happens like accidentally, like Zero accidentally got her number in his phone and texted her to put ice on her pussy. Like you were pursuing them for months. It's not an accidental thing.
Yeah, yeah. It's insane that any of these people are allowed to go to tournaments. It's
Yeah,
like they act like restricting these people from tournaments is some kind of violation of their human rights, and they need to
yeah,
call
I
the
know.
High Commissioner for the Chair on Human
It,
Rights of the UN.
and I have zero. I have 100 Twitter followers. Everyone in the scene hates me because I'm loud, and so when I go and I say, yeah, we should keep Zero out of this forever, there's people in my mentions going, he probably atoned for this despicable thing he did. Why don't we let him back? And it's like, I wish I had people going to bat for me like random pieces of shit are going to bat for sexual predators online.
Yeah, fucking A.
I was like, I've known you since we were in second grade. If it came out that you were having sexual relations or asking a 14-year-old to do sexual acts, I would never speak to you again.
Yeah,
I don't care. I would say this is insane. I don't want to be around you. You're a fucking deviant.
yeah.
There's no coming back from that. You're old, right? People, oh, they're young, they're gonna change. I'm like, no, dude. Like I knew. I've always known. I've always known that what's wrong, dude. It's so crazy to me. You always know. So we have to be better, okay? We have to be fucking. And I guess we don't have to be, but I am going to be, as much as I can, a beacon for these positive, traits I think we should have. kick the fucking bad people out of the community. It's the only way we're gonna learn. Stop giving them second chances. You don't deserve a second chance in a fighting game scene, in a video game scene, an FPS scene. Just be a good person from the start, or you're out. I mean,
Yeah,
just don't just act right. Or get smited from the community. It's as simple as that. There's like you could be egregious. Like if you're just in there talking shit, and you're like you're a fucking piece of shit, right? And you get loudmouth and you're talking trash. That's fine. Forgive them for that. It's inoffensive. There's so many things that are just unforgivable for like first strike, right? You don't need 3 strikes on sexual abusers and shit. That's
yeah.
just crazy.
Just get them out. There's no one needs them here.
And the
They're
problem
not
is,
doing
yeah.
anything positive. They're only a negative influence.
And the
Like
problem
what?
is, yeah, they're positive influences that they're good at the game and people like them for
Who
that.
gives a shit? Like they should
Mhm.
be excommunicated from society.
Exactly. And so we see it all the time. It needs to be said. Unfortunately, it needs to be said because it's prevalent in Smash. It's prevalent in Overwatch. It's probably prevalent in Apex. It just hasn't come out yet. I did see one thing in Apex, which isn't. I mean, we're not going to quantify the degree of how bad or how not bad it is, but there is like a famous. Well, he's not famous, but he has clout because he has a bunch of kills on a character, hundreds of thousands of kills on a character. And he said something like, "Oh, I've been on this grind, keeping it to myself, blah blah, preaching positivity." And some girl like quote tweeted him and was like, "Well, yeah, but what about this?" And it was like him DMing her saying like, "You should date me or I'll kill myself." And I was like, this is crazy. This is what I mean. None of these people are right in the head. Like all these people, like respect them for their gameplay and nothing
Nothing
else.
else.
Nothing else. That's where it ends. You have to be able to disconnect this person from that. You're not their friend, and they're most likely a bad person. If you don't know anything about them as a person, err on the side of them being a bad person, right?
Yeah, just
J-
do that.
just
Like,
just just hope that they're
and
they're
I'm
not.
tired of this whole idea that child predators are people too and deserve anything.
Yeah,
They
they're not.
don't, and they aren't.
I'm not.
We should
If
just
I'm
end
not
them.
even joking. If I go to a Smash tournament, because I go probably 2 a year, just because I like going to being rowdy. If I see Zero at a tournament, it's on site, dude. I'm like, I'm causing a ruckus. I'm getting him out. This guy has asked 14-year-olds to if they want to watch porn with him and to touch themselves. Like he's done. It's fucking insane. If I see this guy out in public, I'm saying you cannot be here, dude. Like you got to
Yeah,
go. I'm gonna
there's
take
no
that
one.
upon myself. You have to.
No one has the right to be at a Smash tournament, and I
Yeah.
don't understand why it's like they view it as such a harsh
Yeah.
punishment to ban someone
Please,
from every
yeah,
tournament.
please let me back. I changed since 8 months ago. I'm definitely not going to do it again when they're, you know what I mean? Like it's, and we promote this kind of stuff because these, I mean, especially in Smash where there's like young kids in the scene, shit like that. You
Yeah,
gotta
it's a
definitely watch out.
children's party game. We should get the predators away from it forever,
I
not
mean,
temporarily, not
yes,
wait out like serve their sentence. Like that's not the case. It's just a hobby. It's just a video game. It's not even big enough that they can make it their career. It's not like we're kicking Kaepernick out of the NFL and he has to
yeah.
go work at
Well,
Burger
I mean,
King. These people work at Burger King anyway. Just let them go do that. They can get a hobby that's not revolving around a children's video game.
yeah. But even beyond that, like, I've said it before, but like when Sandusky was involved in a sexual scandal at Penn State, and it's not they're not like after he went to jail. If he gets out, they're not going to be like, well, he was a good defensive coach. Why don't you come back? Like they'd be like, fuck off, go do basket weaving, dude. We don't give a shit. Like you're not
Yeah.
allowed back. It doesn't matter. And you know what's crazy? I've heard this directly. I'm going to call him out. Moosh in the Philadelphia Smash community literally has said to me, I got banned from his tournament for protesting that a sexual predator was allowed back to a tournament after only 8 months of being banned. And he said he didn't do anything illegal, and I'm not here to arbitrate on like what they do in their personal time. If they don't cause a ruckus at my tournament, they're allowed in. And I was
Yeah,
basically
he
just
only
said like,
cares about money.
yeah, and I basically said like, I was just like, that's I completely disagree. This is like psychotic. Don't you want people like this out of the scene? And anyway, so like fuck people like that. That is a local TO. He gets nothing but respect from all the players because he runs a tournament they like to go to, and he unbanned a guy who was online 22 or 23 dating like a 16-year-old. It was so fucking obnoxious to me. He kept saying she was turning 17, and I go, so she was 16. Like shut the fuck up. Why are you defending this guy? They go, oh, he's changed, right? He went to therapy. I don't give a fucking shit if he donated $1 million to charity. He did try this thing. He doesn't need to prove that he's a good person to come back. Never let him back again. Err on the side of caution and keep these bad people out of the scene. And so we're talking insane fringe cases where people are are sexual abuse and stuff like that. But we got to nip all this bad stuff in the bud. The reason why they're allowed to get away with this because it's a slow process. It's a slippery slope where people are fucking dickheads and they have huge fan bases. And then next thing you know, everyone has bad stuff in the shadows, right? It happens again and again, and they never learn because they don't have any actual brain power. They just are good at video games. Don't trust the pros with anything. I'm telling you, don't let them change your game. Don't let them dictate how things are played. And for God's sakes, don't treat them as human beings because they are not.
Yeah, we need to really stop. The moral of the story here is stop idolizing the pro players and stop putting
Yeah.
undue weight on their opinions. And
Well,
by
here's
undue weight, I mean anything greater than like some random person you see on the street, because that's all they are to you.
yeah. They are exactly, and I'm going to tie it back to the beginning. Let's focus on all the negatives, the things that the pros have done. They get my favorite guns nerfed. You know, they want like my guns that I love using that are super fun. The L-Star used to be fun, and then they fucking get it nerfed out of the care package, right? And now it sucks balls. It's one of the worst guns in the game. I hate it. L-Star used to be a fucking demon out of the care package. I used to love that gun. They get the Kraber nerfed. Kraber used to be one-shot headshot on everybody. It used to be massive damage body shot. Now it does 110 to Gibby, 140. Who cares? I could do 110, and I could do more than that with a massive shot. You know, from close range. It doesn't fucking matter. I don't need the Kraber now. They ruined the gun. Yeah, so these pros are mad because they get 360 no scope by somebody online and they want the gun nerfed and then people nerf it. They're getting my favorite guns that I like to use for fun nerfed because they make money playing the game. I do not give a shit.
Bullshit.
Stop. I'm getting dog shit. I'm getting shit nerfed in Halo that I like. I come on one day and the game just plays differently. I go, oh, what's different about this? Oh, the pros got it nerfed. Stop letting them do it. You're taking their side because you also don't want to die to a gun that you quote unquote think is bullshit. But they're nerfing your favorite guns. Remember in Halo and Apex used to be fun. Remember you just go and just have fun. Now you have to get everything nerfed that kills you because it's too strong. You know what's fun? To use the strong abilities. Just fucking use them. Just use them. Use them until they nerf it, because it's gonna be gone forever soon. Because the pros cry and get it changed on you.
Yeah, and it's because they have too much influence.
Mm-hmm.
The developers are afraid of them, and they don't want to. And it's the same with to speak about Moosh, who is a scumbag
Mm-hmm.
and a predator himself, I'm sure.
Mm-hmm.
He just
Holy
like the
shit.
developers. He just like the developers. They just care about the money, and they
Mhm.
cater to the top players so much that whatever the top player's opinion, and I saw this as a TO constantly,
Mm-hmm.
the TOs will do whatever the top players want. They
Mhm.
take their opinions in first and foremost, and they're the most important opinions. Even though, and I tried to fight against that, I tried to be like, oh, well, actually, the top players here are only like 3 people, and the other 37 people in my house just want to have a good time.
Yes.
So I'm going to focus on what they want over what you want. And sometimes you have to do that, but these people are too afraid to do it. They're too afraid that, like, these people from FaZe or whatever are going to go on Twitter and be like, man, Halo sucks so much dick, I'm not playing it anymore, and they're going
Mhm.
to lose their player base because of one guy on Twitter.
Yeah. Exactly.
Not realizing that those people following this guy on Twitter aren't even real people, they're all robots.
Yeah, and they don't have opinions. They probably don't even play the game. They just like to go online and defend this guy for some reason.
Yeah,
I mean,
I think they're mostly robots. I
we-
seriously think they're not real humans.
We've had this happen before. I mean, another thing that's happened to me on a smaller scale. For you're talking about top player privilege again, I've gone to tournaments before, and the guy that was probably going to win the Smash tournament showed up an hour and a half late, so they didn't start the bracket until they got there. I was there on time. I had to wait an hour and a half to play my thing, and then I had to play someone who was really talented that he brought in his carpool second round, and I just lose. So I wait an hour and a half to play someone that's extremely talented because I don't get seeded. He does. Not only do they get to come whenever they fucking want, but they get seeded against low level players, and then I'm instantly out of the tournament. Like, don't you think that they like the TO would look at that and say, wow, yeah, I just held this bracket up for an hour and a half for this guy who drove an hour to get here on time to lose instantly and have to drive an hour home. I think they'd look at that and say, like, yeah, we should not let that happen. But no, they're even low level. They're fucking slave to top players because they have no integrity and they're pussies.
Yeah, that's because a lot of the lower level tournaments, they want to not be low level anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And the best way that they think to do that is to get top players to come to their tournament and then get a stream for their tournament. So that people always say, good players go to this tournament, and then other
Mhm.
people go to that. When in reality, that never happens. That's why I never got a stream for my tournament, is because people are watching your stream does not translate to more entrants.
No.
This doesn't happen. People
Well, I
aren't
mean,
gonna
because they're
travel to
watching
your
from
tournament.
across the country. Yeah.
Yeah, it's very stupid, and I was just never in favor of streaming. It never seemed like something that would actually be beneficial.
Why would
But
you?
that's
You're
what these
just
people want. They just want more players, and the best way for them to get more players is to get top players to talk about their tournament on Twitter.
yeah.
When in reality, most of the people that go to Smash tournaments don't fucking use Twitter.
No.
Most of them don't. Most people don't use Twitter. Twitter has like a disproportionate amount of power to how many people are actually on it.
Yeah.
I think it's a very small percentage.
I think so too. It's like become a cesspool for just complaining about games until you get them fucking. Games used to be just fun, dude. We used to go out there and have fucking fun with video games. You know what? To their credit, I've never seen people on like Splitgate being like, "Yeah, we need to nerf this." I think it's because it has a small community and it's something to say about not having real any top players because it doesn't really have like a scene like that. But I mean, like, how many times have you died to the bat? Have you ever been like, "Oh, we need to nerf that"? Oh, it's a one-hit kill. That's not fair. Like never,
Yeah,
right?
never. Not one
Oh, he
time.
portaled behind me and killed me. It's like, well, just fucking portal away, right?
Yeah,
It
just
just
be
doesn't, it
better.
doesn't have this pro in the scene with a million followers changing the game for the worse. So you just go in and have fun. I've never seen someone tweet that something in Splitgate needs to be changed. And we had the most fun with that game recently, like out of any other games. Just fun to go in and just kill people.
Yeah, Splitgate rules.
You know they have a no portals mode now. They put out a playlist.
I've heard.
Yeah. So I mean, that's so indicative. Oh, and here's another great thing of Splitgate. I saw. No, this might just be a rumor, but I saw that they're supposed to be bought out by a big company. When they first like released, it was huge. There was like a huge rush of people playing Splitgate, and it sort of died down since then. And I heard that they're supposed to be bought out, and they said no. And people were saying like, "Oh man, they turned down a bag, and now they're crappy. They have no player base. Oh, these guys fucking suck." And I was like, I respect more than anything a company that will turn down selling their game because they want to keep creative control of it.
Yeah,
We
I'm
should
full. Like,
not
yeah,
be,
we should celebrate that for
yes,
sure.
we should not be promoting like
To sort
making
of corporate
a
takeover is a
product of
good
any
thing.
type. Yes, not making a product of any type and then selling it off to the highest bidder because you want like securing the bag should not be the end goal. It should be having like cool fucking good games. They're promoting that securing the bag thing is the reason why we get games like fucking Assassin's Creed Odyssey and dumb shit like that. So this money centric pro player centric gaming ideology lately is bad for gaming. There's no good fun games to play out now. Halo Infinite sucks. Apex sucks. Warzone sucks. No one likes it. No one that's playing these games likes it, but there's nothing else to play. There's no
Yeah.
good fun. Valorant sucks. CS:GO sucks. What are you supposed to fucking play? Gears of War? What are you supposed to fucking play? Splitgate? There's nothing to fucking play, so they play what's out there, and the only thing to do is get caught up in the bullshit drivel of the top player and cry. We gotta fucking rise up, dogs. We gotta rise up, gamers. We gotta be like LeBron, okay? Be like LeBron.
Be like
Be
LeBron.
like LeBron James. I love LeBron, dude. He loves China, just like me.
Yeah, he does.
Just like me. What's your closing statement, Isaac?
My closing statement is that top players are not intelligent people. And they're often not intelligent even in regards to the game that they're a professional at.
Mm-hmm.
They're just, some people are just more talented than you, and it's not that they think differently, they're just better at the game than you. So don't look at them like they're gods or they're idols or they're people that should be listened to in any capacity.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I will piggyback off that. Um, Laud them for their skill and nothing else. Detach from it there. Promote like the top players, but because they're talented, right? Let's get some sportsmanship back in sports. Don't care about them. Don't care about the personality. Care about how good they are at the game and leave it at that. Okay. Don't let your pro ruin your game and be nice to your teammates. That's what I'm going out on.
Yeah, and follow me at Moosh to Moosh on Twitter.
All right. That's Bone Robot Games, baby. Pros are ruining gaming. Don't let them do it. Okay. We out.
Peace.